Oh,
Oh boy, here we go. It's
what, what,
Tuesday.
what?
It's episode 42. Y'all better get excited. It's been a few weeks since we checked in with you guys. How you doing out there?
How's everybody doing, bro?
What's up?
And
What's up?
ladies?
Oh shit, we back. And
OWT.
oh, it's OWT. We coming at you with our brand new intro, which we're still kind of working on. But we'll get there, guys. Just bear with us. It's a no budget operation right now. Uh, we're, we're working on some new sponsors. Shout out to our singular one at this point, sleeps.com. Go there and order some stuff to work out. And you can get a 25% off discount if you use the code OW.
Not 10, not 15, not 20, 25% off.
It's a
Take
very
advantage of that.
nice discount. I mean, if you're into that kind of stuff, if you want some visors for your football helmets, or you need some spats for your cleats, or some armbands or headbands and things like that, go get it. Go get it. Sleeps.com. Shout out.
Spell it out for them.
SLEEFS.com. Boom.
Sleeps.com. Please head out there. Type in the code word.
Give a nice little shout out to my Goose Island here. I'm going to be in Chicago in a few weeks, so y'all get ready. This is a lovely, what is it, the Lost Coast IPA, or Next Coast IPA is 7%. It's a little fruity, but it's not too fruity. And I want to give it a nice 7.5. 7.5.
7.5.
It's beautiful. It's
That's
not
a strong score.
It's not quite as drinkable as some of those new kind of low cal, low content IPAs that you see from like Dogfish Head. Cigar City has one that just came out. It's like 95 calories or something like that. It's not quite there, but it's a 7%. So you're probably getting probably 150 calories per drink. But it's full flavored. It's a little fruity, like I said. There's not too much hops. If you like hops, then it's probably not for you, or it's not your favorite. But I like it, and I'd have a couple of them. Yeah, 7.5's. That's good. That's a good review.
That's a decent review. And they're usually like a $12 six-pack type brand.
Yeah.
But shout out to the BOGOs, because I saw that on BOGO.
Again,
Hell
not a
yeah.
sponsor, but Publix, it's not too late. You can get on the bandwagon. Come on, hit us up. We'd be happy to have you. We'll
Dude, when I moved to
help people
what
go and buy beer 2 for 1, and you can give us something from that. I don't know.
when I moved to Florida, I didn't realize like the legacy of what a Publix was. Like that was, it has a fan base. It has people that are just,
Oh my gosh.
like it's
Some people will not shop anywhere else.
exactly. So shout out to Publix, the South,
Oof.
or I guess Florida. I don't know if it's the entire South, but
Yeah,
Florida is number
they're
one.
they're getting up there. I think they have stores in as far north as South Carolina now. So they're definitely a southern chain, but Lakeland, Florida is where they're from. Shout out to our listeners in Lakeland, Florida.
I
And
did not know that.
shout out to our listeners all over the country. Holy shit. We've got the biggest influx. I think we touched a nerve after our last show. I don't know what we said, but again, that's why we're trying to set up avenues.
Tell me what happened. What kind of numbers?
Oh my God, they're from everywhere. They came at us they're out of the woodwork. It's crazy. Kissimmee was the only Floridian post that reported in, but we had Springfield, Pennsylvania, Providence, Rhode Island, Fredericksburg, Virginia, Bayside, and Delhi, New York. Those are 2 separate places I never realized. Cypress, Katy, Fort Stockton, Texas, San Diego, California. Huge shout out to San Diego. What's going on down there?
Katy, Texas too.
Katy, Texas.
I heard of Katy.
Katy though, so it's not spelled the same way.
No, I know. I remember having customers with ADT in Katy, Texas.
No
for
kidding.
Some reason that sticks out. Yeah.
Right on. Let's see. Fayetteville, North Carolina, Greensboro, NC, New Bern, NC, Taylorsville. Shout out to Lexington, South Carolina, Irmo, South Carolina, Bensonville, Illinois, Chicago, Illinois. We got a little bit of a story to talk to about Chicago, and there, our friend of the show, Lori Lightfoot from Chicago. There, Maricopa County, Arizona.
Oh, shit.
I don't know why.
They have a lot of shit going on. They're doing the recount.
And last but not least, of course, Killdeer, North Dakota.
That's awesome. That's an awesome name.
One word, Killdeer.
That's an awesome name and a beautiful, beautiful state.
So, guys,
I hope to visit.
I don't know. Yeah, we definitely want you to visit. We will have to visit you. Come out and tell us how you're feeling. I don't know what happened after our last show and what just like opened the floodgates, but that's the most listeners. We had like something like 120 new people join up after the last show. So whatever we did, tell us what we did right so we can keep doing that. Or if it was something that pissed a lot of people off and that just made more people listen, that's fine, right? So
I mean, we are the time capsule of podcasts. We bring up subjects that make news a week after, 2 weeks, a month after we talk about it. We definitely bring a lot to the table, and hopefully we just keep growing our base. We keep growing our fans. So we really do appreciate our old listeners, our new listeners. Shout out to all of you.
It's only episode 42. We're just getting started. Just think about that. You know, all the things we've been able to accomplish. We snuck our way into a political rally. We almost did a meet and greet, cool. But we got canceled by the pandemic. So, you know, all kinds of shit can happen. That's okay. I got some breaking news for you before we get into entertainment news, but it's kind of on the same line.
Hit the soundbite, breaking news.
Breaking news. The members of OWT are on the run. The antivirus pioneer, John McAfee, posted to his Instagram account after he died, or after he killed himself in prison, just a mysterious letter, Q. Not sure if you heard about this story today.
Okay, no. So that's our timestamp. He died today.
Yeah,
he found dead
in a prison in Barcelona. So shout out to the Catalan y the Lips. But he died in Barcelona, and we're not sure if he was actually suicided or arc-incited, or if he actually did kill himself. He actually got a tattoo on his arm that said "whacked," and he said, "If you ever find me having committed suicide, just know that I didn't do it." It wasn't me.
That's wild.
Apparently his wife or ex-wife was like, in the last few days she was like, "Oh yeah, people are trying to kill him right now." And then he ended up dead in a prison.
He ended up dead
in Spain.
Not shocked. He definitely didn't commit suicide is what I'm going to lean towards. Yeah. He probably got, just like Jeffrey Epstein probably didn't do it either.
Apparently he was buddy with Epstein for a while.
I mean, a lot of people were. Each other. A lot of people were.
And he was, you know, spreading quote conspiracy theories about that, how that ended. And he was fairly certain that Epstein did not kill himself either.
Yeah, he was on the run for a while. Like he would post pictures of him on boats with machine guns and shit. Mm-hmm. He would do. Have you ever seen the documentary of him? Oh, it's a must watch. It's okay. It's the most famous part about it is when they talk to, I believe it was in Belize, or in some small countries where he made a deal with the government that he was just going to stay there and shit. They ended up fucking him over. But before they fucked him over, like he would have fun with like local girls and stuff like that. Uh-huh. And then they interviewed them. They're like, oh, what he was into. And when you find out what he was into, you're like, oh my God, it's the most shocking shit ever. It's nothing that hurt them, but it's something that I would never do. You would never do. I know that for sure. Maybe, I don't know. You're part German, but
small.
So small, yeah. So I think he would like, it was gross. So I won't gross out our fans, but it's definitely a must-watch documentary about John McAfee.
I can't wait. Thanks for recommending it to me.
It's a good one.
Over 1,000 listeners.
It's not a bad one. It's older, so it's before like his recent things. He had recently promised that if Bitcoin didn't reach a certain amount, he would eat his own dick. So my friend wrote that in the text group, in the text thread. He's like, man, I never got to see him eat his own dick. I'm like, that's how he suicided himself. He choked on it.
Yeah. They didn't, the news story didn't say how they found him.
They didn't disclose it.
Said he was dead.
So tell me about this post after his death. I didn't even know about that.
Say again? I didn't catch that.
You said that there was a post after his death?
Yeah, apparently it's just a letter, just Q.
Oh,
Maybe he was Q. It came from his Instagram account like hours after he was found dead. So
that's someone that just
there's
had.
either somebody hacked it and just having fun, or it was never run by him in the first place.
I was just gonna say that he probably had other people that had his password and things like
Yeah.
that.
I
And
mean,
then
if you sold your company 10 years ago to Intel for $7.7 billion, I wouldn't be doing much social media. I mean, I wouldn't think that I would have the time or patience for that. Just like, let's go do whatever it is we want to do today. He didn't
he
really
did
seem
the
like me.
Rogan experience on the
Hmm.
run. He zoomed in, or before Zoom was a thing. He did a teleconference one.
Hmm.
He would do all types of weird interviews. Like he was an interesting man, very smart, but very weird
Twisted.
at the same time.
Yeah.
Twisted
Hmm.
is a good way. That's what it's like. That documentary kind of just shows you another side to someone that I wouldn't say capitalism broke him, but like he wasn't the same after he made it and he sold his
Hmm.
company. He just became a different human.
Well, I mean, it remains to be seen, but a lot of people from that kind of time period that made a ton of money in the like 80s, the tech boom in the 80s, and then it kind of expounded as the .com thing took off. A lot of them are like fucked up. A lot of them are. So, um, yeah. So looking forward to more news from the John McAfee or McAfee, however you like to pronounce it, whichever country you're from. Uh, Story. We'll find
And
out more about that.
for the younger listeners, when
Not too
computers
young.
came out, yeah, not too
18
young,
and
but
over only, right?
whatever age. McAfee was like it came on like computers. It was like one of the top programs that you installed on your computer to fight viruses.
Hmm.
That was his. It went hand in hand with having a computer.
Yeah,
It
even after he
was
sold the business, they kept the name.
yeah.
It,
They
it
kept
was
the
it was
name
that
too.
entrenched into people's like psyche that it was going to protect their computers and their work. So,
Yeah, the only other one that was on the same level as that brand would have been like Norton,
hmm, yeah,
but
and
McAfee
that's
was
exactly right.
huge.
And I
Yeah,
don't hear of anybody like mentioning Norton as something you should go for outside of like single large computer manufacturers who have a long standing contract with them. Like I don't know.
Norton now does VPN. That's like
Yeah.
their new. That's their new thing.
Okay. Well, I think we beat that horse to suicided death. Have you seen any good movies or TV shows that you want to look at tonight?
Um, Loki started,
Oh
which
shit!
is a Marvel show on Disney.
Gender
I've been
fluid.
enjoying that. Yeah, gender fluid, exactly. That's hilarious. Loki was not bad. I saw Sweet Tooth.
Uh huh.
Did you hear about that?
I heard about it and it looks intriguing. The
It's
premise
not
is
bad.
that there's like hybrid human animal children or people out in the world. Something happened to enable that, and then there they are.
Yeah, pretty
Right.
much. It's somehow incorporated with DC Comics,
Mm-hmm.
and the project belongs to Iron Man. What the fuck's his name?
Iron Man,
The actor
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. I think him and a family member.
Fucking Ron
That's
Howard.
that's
Ron fucking Howard. Robert Downey fucking Jr.
that's his project. It wasn't bad. It's a cute show. Definitely a lot of little kids in it. That's like the main character. He's probably like a 12-year-old.
Hmm.
Um, it's not bad. It's just interesting. Some people from the conspiracy world think that it's some sort of priming because they believe that
What would be the benefit if that was the case? They're getting us
it's
ready
priming,
for.
getting us ready for
This isn't just like growing a human ear on a mouse. This is like
well,
having
now they're
mouse
growing.
children.
I think a couple weeks ago in the Senate, they allowed certain tests that weren't allowed before that have to do with cloning and
Okay.
things like that. Um, I've seen it where they're growing like entire organs directly
Organs
from
and
an
pigs and
animal.
things. Yeah,
Yeah, like a
that's
straight up pig
been
heart.
yeah, that's been done for a little while.
They're doing this thing where like I guess what they're priming for is like not, but this isn't me thinking, but what some people think, it's like priming for like a future where maybe your kids are born in a bag, almost like a pod at home type of
Hmm.
thing, where it's just getting you ready that that's going to be the new norm, where it's a little
Wow.
bit more controlled of a process instead of just humans fucking and overpopulating the earth. It's going to be
Where's the fun in that?
more of a scientific process, where you take that CRISPR technology, maybe you can pick out like the eye color, the hair color, take out certain genes that shouldn't be there that might be defective.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
I think that's that's what we're heading towards.
But that's
Are we heading towards that? I don't know, but that's what some people think.
so you think that this show, in its kind of fantastic kind of approach, is a primer for that?
I think that they're priming also that they are, for years they've been saying, and it's never come out, that animals gene splicing with humans has been going on, and that's like super
Hmm.
illegal allegedly,
Hmm.
but it's been happening for like a while. So I don't know what that means, or what that,
Okay.
if that's what it's priming for. Is something going to happen where we are going to have these new type of people? I don't know. um who knows?
Well, it's something to look forward to for certain. So you'd recommend the show? It's entertaining. It's worth a look.
Yeah, it's worth a look.
Okay.
It's definitely a cool story. It's interesting. I enjoyed it. I binge watched it with my girlfriend on like a Saturday. It was just caught me off guard, and it caught my attention enough to just be like, all right, fuck it, we're committed to this.
Yeah, and it came out recently too, so it's topical and it's you know current events. Can you? I was going to ask, can you think of the name of the John McAfee documentary,
Yeah, let me
or can
look
you
that up real
find that
quick.
and
Well,
post it
while I'm
in
looking
the
that up,
feed?
tell me,
So
did you see any new movies? Or
yeah, I saw a couple of films. One was the one that it was in theaters for a short time, but I didn't end up watching it in the theater, and it went to HBO. Or yeah, it was on HBO for a little while, for about a month. Those Who Wish Me Dead. This is the one about it's Angelina Jolie, and she's like a firefighter in like Montana or something, out in the
I
wilderness.
don't buy that.
Yeah, and she gets in a she gets in the reason I knew about it was I was, it's from the director of no, the writer of Sicario and the director of Hell or High Water. So this guy is, um, all of his
Okay,
films are about
I like
like,
Sicario.
yeah, all of his films are about like pretty much like law enforcement or communities out in like the rural, like Midwest or West or Southwest, and it's all like crime drama. He also did Wind River. If you haven't seen that movie, check it out. That's definitely one you got to check out. Um, it is a very violent movie. Those Who Wish Me Dead is obviously very violent, but it's surprising in ways. It doesn't end the way you think it's going to end. I would recommend it. Um, it's a solid, you know, not what you would expect out of the cast. You'll see some faces from like Game of Thrones and X-Men in the cast that you see them doing things that you would never see them doing in other movies. Um, that is not a little bit of a spoiler, but it's just something that if you see somebody typecast as somebody, then you look at this movie and be like, wow, typecasts are completely overrated. Like it's not something that needs to happen anymore. So yeah, I'd recommend that one. I watched it about a week and a half ago, but I'm not sure if you can watch that on HBO anymore. I think they took it off, so you probably have to watch it on demand or rent it somehow.
Interesting. Yeah, I gotta. I the only reason I would be interested in that is A, you recommended it, and B, the producer, I guess, the director, I should
Mm-hmm.
say.
Mm-hmm.
But Angelina Jolie as the firewoman person just like almost scared me away.
I don't think she's
Um,
done anything recently, so that's why everybody was kind of surprised. It's like, why would you come out of the woodwork to do this? And it's a great script. It's a good movie. So that, I mean, sometimes if you only want to choose projects and do those when you need to or when you want to, that kind of makes sense too. But I would think that if I was a successful like mid 50s actor, I'd probably only work when I wanted to. Also, Do you have a law of power queued up for us today?
I do not, but we will get back to that. I've been working on some projects, so I have not been reading. So shame
Okay.
on me.
Yeah, cool.
I will
That's all
say
right.
though, I will bring up one more. It's on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
There's currently 4 seasons, but I think there's going to be a fifth and final.
All right.
It's called The Last Kingdom,
Mm.
and I remember trying to watch it like 2 years ago or something, and maybe I didn't. I think I was into Game of Thrones too much to
Okay.
be like, this is like, I just didn't give it a chance because I was just like, fuck, I don't want to.
Last Kingdom.
Yeah, The Last Kingdom's pretty cool. I would recommend. It's only for certain people, man. It's basically about right before England was united. There's a whole bunch of like little kingdoms all over the place,
Mm-hmm.
and the Danes kept attacking from all over. So the main story is a Christian born baptized kid who's like in his kingdom in the north. They get attacked by Danes. He's supposed to be next in line, and his dad dies, right?
Yep.
Long story short, he gets abducted by the Danes. He ends up growing up with them, so he's like this half Christian Dane guy.
Okay.
And then it's the story of Uhtred and his adventures and shit, and him teaming up with the kings, and they call him the Dane Slayer, and it's interesting. It's not too corny. I
Why would you say
respect
it's not
some,
for everybody?
meaning like a lot of sword fighting, some
Everybody loves
violence.
swords. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's like it's Game of Thrones with different type of magic. There's no dragons,
Is
but
it
there
in
is some
English?
it is in English. It
Okay.
is.
Well, I mean, that's an
Yeah.
immediate turn on for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's not a foreign or a voiceover. It's an English
Dubbed.
show.
Yeah.
I thought it was entertaining enough where like like at night, like when the day's done, maybe right before bed, I'll turn on an episode or two,
Mm-hmm.
and it keeps me entertained.
Okay.
Just
Cool.
follow the story of Uhtred, this fucking Danish English guy, and all the adventures that he goes on. If people seen The Witcher, it's that style, but without like
Quite so
the
much. Like witchcraft.
not so much witchcraft. There is witchcraft, but it's almost like what pagan stuff,
Mhm.
where like they believe in signs from nature,
Sure.
potions and shit like that. But there's no fucking beasts or Walking Dead people. Like it's a decent show. So I currently would give that about a 7.2. And here's the other thing that I forgot to, maybe we talked about this, is I realized we score sometimes TV series in whole, which is okay. But to be fair to some series, you can also score them by seasons, because
Sure.
there are some seasons that are strong and others that are
Some that are
shit.
just garbage.
Yeah, some of that are just garbage, which obviously influence the whole score. But
Man.
This show is one where it starts off pretty strong.
Okay.
It gets you right into
that it continues and it does a good job through the last season, or are we talking about like a 6.5 or lower for some of these seasons, and then like a 10 out of 10 for like one season?
I'd say consistently it was over 6.5 consistently, which is pretty good.
Yeah, it's worth watching.
It's worth watching. It's
Even
if you like Game of Thrones, if you put it this way, I'll give you a category. If you were a Game of Thrones person, you'll like it. If you like Braveheart, you'll like it.
That show went like 7 or 8 seasons, right?
Yeah, but those are real. I mean, those are like movies almost.
Yeah, I mean, again, I was on board, even though a lot of the effects and the story obviously was all over the place, but I liked it for the first like 3, and then it took a hard nosedive after that.
Well, everybody knows the story. I believe it's been proven that the 2 creators, right?
Oh, yeah.
They first were working with the author, and they were in line with him, and they got to a certain point where the author hasn't written the story.
Yeah.
and then they kind of went on their own with his guidance a little bit. But then on that last season, they were in a rush to like go start working for Star Wars, which they ended up doing so bad in the rush season that they say that that's the reason they didn't get the Star Wars gig. They took it away from them.
It got canceled.
It got canceled on them. Rightfully so. If you fucking rushed such an important project, which was Game of Thrones, I think that the punishment
it seems like they were prepared to burn that bridge in order to start,
which is wild. Game of Thrones is so popular.
Why would you do that? You know, and Star Wars has its fandom, and it's certainly large and profitable, but don't let one project fall by the wayside so you can start another one. That's something you can't do, because not only is your brand damaged, but the like people are going to see your personality exposed there. So when you jump from Star Wars to Jurassic Park or whatever the next project is, they're going to be like, no, we need you to finish this to our level of, specificity and quality.
Yeah, exactly.
Before you even like work on this other thing. Like maybe you can work on them at the same time, but if it's not up to our standard, then we will cancel the remainder of your contract. Like there has to be that written into it. I would not hire those people for any reason without specific clauses that say it needs to be like this to our liking, or you don't get paid.
And it just shows like it's almost like a person that like a mob worker who turns on the boss, meaning that like there's no you can't start working for the next person and they know what you did, that you had that loyalty and hard work coming with you. They just see like, you can do that to us too. Like you just did that to fucking Game of Thrones, the fucking show that puts you on the map.
And it's not just the production company. It's not just HBO. It's not just the writer of the books that they turned on. It was the fans. And the fans don't forget that shit either. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Fuck this up. You're gonna fuck up everything else that you move on to.
Yeah, there's gonna be hatred cancellation, that they're just not gonna watch it because they worked on the project. There was a lot of people pissed off at the last season of Game of Thrones. I wasn't one of them. I thought it was,
you didn't get ended properly. It was fine.
I thought it was fine. I guess the person. Spoiler alert. Well, you fucks, if you haven't seen it, that's your fault.
It's been done for years. It's not,
yeah,
you haven't seen it by now. Fuck you. Like,
yeah, exactly. The king that ended up being on there, I guess, was who was supposed to end up being the king. Maybe just how he got. I think the to be honest, most people, the feedback that I saw and heard personally was the deaths of certain characters. Some of them felt rushed and things like that. But
if the character was worth anything, they would have found out a more appropriate way to kill them.
Yeah, and I feel like that pissed off a lot of people. Just a quick side note: we always bring up like TV shows and movies and things like that. One of the TV shows we brought up a few episodes ago was just my love for the Formula One show on Netflix. Oh, yeah. And then today on NBC News, it's saying that NASCAR, how it's always controlled and run American racing, like the viewership, it says that Formula One's numbers are incredible, and they're thinking that it's the Netflix show. So I was like, oh shit. Oh, wow. Yeah, we're always ahead of the curve here at OWT.
Speaking of racing, shout out to Alvin Kamara, the running back for the New Orleans Saints, number 41. He's your boy. He now has a job as a growth personality in NASCAR. So he's still playing football, but he's doing that as well. NASCAR is like one of his favorite sports, so he's just like he's down to.
He's a country boy.
Yeah, well, he's from Georgia, I believe. He went to school in Tennessee, but he's from Georgia. He hangs out. He grew up with Amigos in high school.
That's pretty cool. If you like NASCAR, you're a country boy. You're from the South, or most likely 90% of the time. The documentary is called Gringo: The Dangerous Life of John McAfee. It's from 2016. You can probably watch it for free on YouTube, but it looks like it is available on Hulu.
There you go, people. Go forth and seek out.
Yeah, seek out the guy that allegedly killed himself today. Gringo, which is a Spanish term for pretty much a white boy, American.
White boy summer.
Yeah, an American. White boy, but American, not just any white boy.
Speaking of sports, we've got a couple of big things. First off, John Rahm won the U.S. Open at Torrey Pines on his first Father's Day, his very first Father's Day as a human being. Good for him. I don't follow golf much, but I do enjoy watching it from time to time. Good for John Rahm having apparently some emotional issues. Most of the time when he's not doing well on the golf course, he throws or breaks a club or screams incoherently. But in this
Those guys are
particular
always
day,
fun.
he controlled himself and he won, and it was a nice day for him and his family. So good for him. Last night, Orlando City beat San Jose 5-0 at home. There was about an hour and a half of rain delay. I was there for the first part of the game, and it was very exciting. I saw the first 3 goals, and then it started to pour. So we did what we could to get out. Good for them.
And for
Top of the
those
table
that
in the Eastern Conference for the MLS.
that's pretty cool. So shout out to Orlando, fucking
And the
making
women's team,
some
the Pride, they're at the top of the table on the women's side. So
I didn't even know that.
shout out to
MLS is making moves, man. A lot. I see also that a lot more people are interested in it now that I live in a town with an MLS team again.
absolutely.
That's pretty cool. The
Yeah, you got to
stadium's
make an
really
appointment
close.
to come with us to a game at some point.
Yeah. For those that don't know, Trevor has season tickets. He has really good seats. So it's
Yeah, they
pretty
just
badass.
changed them. It's the same price or whatever. So we have 4 tickets, and it's the same price as they were last year. Before we were like, I don't know, 40 rows up, and now we're second level, but we're like 2 or 3 rows back from the barrier or from the
Really
cliff,
cool.
if you will. So we can see a lot more of the field, a lot more real time.
And 5-0, for those that don't watch soccer, is
San Jose
equivalent
is awful,
to
but
yeah, but 5-0 in soccer is like the statement score, meaning like that's like 42-0 in football. That's winning by 25 or more in basketball. In college football, that's a fucking 40-point win. It's the 5-0 in soccer is really special. They make T-shirts sometimes.
wins. So the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs are going on right now.
They're playing right now as we speak.
They're
I
playing right
want the
now.
Islanders to win, bro.
How is Tampa doing? Because when I left,
Oh shit, they finally tied. Thank God.
so it's Tampa and the Islanders is 2-2.
Yeah, they're going into overtime, it looks
Going
like.
overtime. So big time stuff. The Lightning are up by 1 game. So if they win,
After an 8-0 fucking ass whooping.
no, I watched that shit and that was wild. Speaking of blowouts, but also last night.
Is that your team?
No, well, I'm rooting for Tampa because my company is a sponsor, and I guess they're the only Florida team left. I would have rooted for the Pittsburgh Penguins, which is my wife's team, but now they got knocked out by the Islanders. So fuck the Islanders. I know you're on the Islanders side, but
Definitely. Yeah, growing up in New Jersey, man, everybody was either a Devils fan or Rangers, and I just
Rangers.
like, I don't know, I didn't want to be either one, and then I'm like, who are these Islanders? And I like the logo.
You know Kyle, right?
Like,
our buddy Kyle.
I think so.
He's a Rangers fan, and so a lot of times when the Rangers and the Penguins go up against one another in the first round of the playoffs, and usually the Penguins beat them, it's fun to watch because he becomes a Penguins convert after his team loses. Because I mean, he grew up going to games at Madison Square Garden. Like you could never not root for them. And
The Rangers haven't been good in a long time.
That's
though,
true.
Right?
That's accurate.
I remember who the fuck? Yeah, Messi. No, I'm thinking of other sports.
On the other side of the playoff situation, we have the Vegas Golden Knights, who are down 1 game to the Montreal Canadiens. The Canadiens won 4-1 last night. Again, it's kind of a lopsided win when you think about it. That's like a 25-point lead or blowout in basketball.
Did that team's name have anything to do with UCF changing their name?
No, it did not.
I wasn't sure because it confuses me. I'm like, what? Golden Knights? I always.
Who the fuck are the UCF kids these days are like, who the fuck are the Golden Knights?
Yeah, no. I still consider them the Golden Knights.
And when people call us Central Florida on ESPN, like people get mad. They like break stuff. They're like, we're UCF, god damn it. Just don't. I know.
Why do you see the anger in that?
Well, because we're not like Central Michigan. It's not like Eastern
Okay.
Pennsylvania
But
University.
they could argue that it's in your name, right?
Yes, it
University of
is.
Central. So they're just forgetting one word, but that one word
Yeah.
is a huge difference, I guess, to some people.
It does make a big difference when it's the only, I guess, qualifier. And people also compare because our mortal enemy USF is like 1,000th of a degree in longitude south. And then
I did
over to
not
the
know that.
coast, over to Tampa. So they're like almost exactly the same. But they
I
call
did
it
not
South
know that.
Florida, even though South Florida is, pretty consistently like the Miami,
The Miami
the
area.
greater
Yeah,
Miami area. Like that's South Florida, right? Anything
for
north of
sure.
Naples is not South Florida.
But that whole side is Tampa,
That's right. Fucking Tampa is West Central Florida.
pretty much.
West Central Florida Community College. Okay. Uh, so I think that's all I had for sports. Do you have any headline queens for me?
I do.
Oh, wonderful. Hit me.
More than 150 fired resign over vaccine requirements at a Houston hospital.
Methodist.
Did
What's up?
not read did not read the article, but it sounds like you do have some details on it.
Nope.
Um,
We're saving this for the Patreon.
yeah, so what we're thinking is we do our headline queens where we just bring up some headlines and kind of do what the majority of the population does is just speculate what the story is about. Um,
And not
and
do the
I
home.
think in our Patreon or maybe on Rockfin, we don't know yet. We're gonna have more continued episodes where we actually will read the article, the details, and do some in-depth discussions
We have to
about the
cut that
subjects.
because is that like a second part to the episode, or is it like we break and then we insert the part where
It'll
that
be like a premium episode, and it'll go
premium
uh,
blend?
yeah, premium episode that goes in hand with the episode number we're at, something like that.
Mhm.
Or if not, we'll talk about it some more and decide what's the best way of going
All
through
right,
with that.
let's talk
But
about it.
for this one, that's crazy. I mean, 150 people is a lot to even replace. Um,
It's a
I don't know
hospital
if
too, so think about that,
yeah,
guys. When
think
your
about
local
that.
hospital loses 150 people, I don't know how many people usually work at your local hospital, but at our hospitals, it's probably 1,000 people. So if you lose that many caregivers, whether it's nurses, doctors, uh, janitorial staff, or environmental services, or whatever they'd like to be called, folks that take out the trash, like 150 people is a lot of people for one building.
That's just wild. It just still shows that there is some pushback on the vaccine still out there.
Yep.
Um, Strong enough for you to get fired from your job. That's pretty wild.
Mhm. And there are going to
If
be
that is the
lawsuits
case,
about that too. I think this is
there
setting
has to be.
for folks to say there was no legal, I mean, there's no compliant, uh, there was no restriction ahead of time that made it very clear that I had to take this step. Again, I'm vaccinated. I had no problem doing it. I know that I made a decision to do that. But when you look at a company making that decision for, I'm assuming the safety of their patients or the neutralization of spreading that disease, um, you know, they, it's a private company. It's not. I don't think it's a charitable organization or a nonprofit. I don't think they play with the same rules. So they probably had the grounds to do what they did. They gave the dissent the opportunity to do different things like get bought out or get the vaccine rather than get fired or be forced to resign. I don't know. Maybe they picked a certain group of people that were with the company for a certain amount of time where they already had some kind of a tenure or retirement stacked up. I don't know. I don't know the details, but that's why it's Headline Queens.
Yeah. My question would be like, I guess there's no way to work around it. Like, couldn't they take care of patients that also weren't vaccinated or that were? Because I don't know. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
there's the patients have some protection. If you are vaccinated and the other person's not, it's like that's their
No,
own health.
I don't know. I think you'd have to have like immediate COVID tests on both sides. There's like every time you a nurse that's not vaccinated goes into a room with a patient who's not vaccinated, they'd have to like double test both of them just to make sure they couldn't spread it, if that's even a concern. And then like whatever care is given could not be, affected by the testing.
I don't fucking
I don't
know,
know.
dude. I really don't know. That just sucks for everyone involved. People lost their jobs. Hopefully they find something new. I know that there's going to be a whole segment of people that are happy that they lost their jobs, that they feel if you work at a hospital,
Mm-hmm.
you should be vaccinated. You should have the most modern health procedure or whatever you want to call it, um, because of your place of work. You're supposed to be at a place that everyone is current during a pandemic with the number one protection allegedly. I see the other side too. It's like, it's my body, my choice type of thing. Like
Yeah, I
I
mean,
I I,
I'm
I
in
see
that zone.
both
I mean,
sides.
when you look at it, I mean, I don't work with patients. I work with people who work with patients, but I don't see them face to face every day. I rarely see them face to face. I'm going the day after tomorrow to a meeting with some people that see patients face to face, and we've all been vaccinated. But if I was one of those people, it was like I don't work in a hospital. I don't see the need to get vaccinated. I work from home. I don't, I wouldn't be able to go to that meeting face to face.
They basically would
Yeah,
tell you that,
yeah.
right?
They would say you can't come because you elected not to, and this is an in person only meeting, so you can't call in. Like you can't be part of it. So
That's wild. But like who I would want to ask someone in that medical science field. It's like, what are the dangers of, if let's say in that meeting you're referring to everyone is vaccinated but one person,
Mhm.
isn't the only person in harm's way that one person who chose not to be vaccinated?
Well, maybe again,
Maybe, right?
we've had
Like
people that have been fully vaccinated for months get
they get COVID.
positive tested. So your guess is as good as mine. The jury's
Yeah, that's the other thing we're not going to know for years is the amount of false positives. Like,
yeah.
I
I mean
guess the
that's
testing.
true, but I think that's a different animal. A false positive is different from somebody who is fully vaccinated and gets the positive test that's actually positive, like they actually are carrying it.
What would do? But there's no way they could have a false positive.
There's absolutely a way they could have a false positive.
That's
That's
what I'm saying. Like, there's got
test.
to be. I don't know. We're not going to know that for like till 20 years from now. A whole bunch of shit that we should have known now. I have another headline, Queen, and,
Go
and
for it.
before you go, it's a black woman fined $385 for talking loudly on the phone, and she says race was the motive. So she
Oh,
got
man,
a
give
ticket.
us
It looks
blacks.
like. I shared this and
How is
people were
she?
like, dude,
Wait a
she
second.
should have been shot. Like some people hate, especially my New Yorker friends are like, I hate loud people that play their music loud and loud phone talkers. Like in public spaces, you share like a subway, a
Do
bus,
you think
or
that that's the reason that Apple's focused so much on, noise canceling and the quality of their like AirPods, and how like keeping that the forefront of their technology, like just making sure that people can hear what they're saying and hear their music without hearing anything else? Do you think that's why they're focused so much on that?
that could be, but I also think that for example, I've had noise canceling headphones probably for over 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
But I hated hearing things on the outside, especially on airplanes or traveling, or if I'm just trying to be in my own headspace. I hate hearing outside noise when I have headphones on. So that's why I always appreciated the noise canceling technology. The early technology just made a noise. Like when you
Yeah.
turn it on, it would make a buzzing noise.
Mm-hmm.
It was weird. So I always
I
thought that
remember
was weird. That it doesn't really do that now. These are noise canceling that I have on right now. Um, so I don't know if that's Apple. Like to answer your question, I don't think that's the main reason. I just think it gives the listener a better experience. Um, and a lot of them now, like in the better technologies, they give you three options because a lot of people in cities can't have on the noise canceling because they need to be aware of their surroundings to not get hit by a car and things like that. So they offer technology that I haven't tried it out, but I've seen it where it allows you to hear the outside noise for like car horns and certain things,
Right.
but still listen to your music.
Okay. Well, I mean,
So
if there's
she must have
a
been
legal
talking
defense
really
fund
loud.
or some kind of nonprofit that's willing to pay for this young lady, I'm assuming she's young, that she was talking loudly on the phone. ACLU should be in touch, or the NAACP, or one of these groups that it has plenty of money to throw around, especially now. If you're talking loud on your phone and you get fined for it, what was the body that fined her? Did you happen to check that out, or was that?
It was from the New York Post. I didn't read the article, but let me see. It looks like it might have been in New York. It says
Was it
black
in Rhode
women
Island?
fine. Actually, let me
was it
see.
was it at the Spouting Rock Beach Association's Bailey's Beach Club, where Senator Sheldon Whitehouse from Rhode Island defended his all-white membership?
In the picture, they got like a picture of the yeah, that's wild what you just said. In the pic, well, we got to talk about that. I kind of briefly heard about that. East Point, I don't know where that is, but it says public nuisance, and they circled $385 in red. So I think that they took a little picture of the ticket here in the screenshot that I'm looking at.
So you were politely asked to be quiet,
Yeah, I'm saying like
ma'am.
if that is annoying, bro, to hear people fucking talk extra loud on their cell phone. Is it worth $385? Maybe you got to make an example out of some of
Price of
these
freedom.
people. Yeah,
I
but
have no
there's that
problem.
side too. It's like, yo, I'm allowed to talk on my fucking phone. What if I have a loud voice?
I'll pay a fucking
Like,
fine. All right.
yeah, okay, I
All
got
right.
the ticket.
I got you.
So,
Meet
yeah,
my quota this
that's
month
a
on tickets.
exactly. I see both sides to that argument. I would be upset if I got that ticket, but I can also be happy if someone else got it that was annoying me. So I
Sure.
see
I
I
mean,
can
I don't
jump
think
on
you.
both sides.
Yeah, you would never put yourself in that situation where you're like attracting like law enforcement. I'm assuming it was law enforcement. He's like,
I would
I'll
assume
keep
so too.
myself out of this situation. I don't attract attention to myself.
Yeah, I mean, people must have complained. She must have annoyed someone. It wasn't just like, oh, you're. I don't think there's like parking meter type people, parking maids,
There can't be.
Yeah, that would be hilarious if that's
Even
the
in
new
New
thing.
York, it's not like that. I'm assuming it was New York because it was New York Post, right?
Yeah, New York Post. That's what I'm assuming
New
too.
York.
You said you had a headline queen.
Yeah, I got it's a two-parter actually. It's the same story, but from this is from the Washington Free Beacon. So from what you know about that, it's a primarily online journalistic group. The Biden administration is prepared to lift sanctions on Iran's top terrorism financiers, Senator says. And the other side of the story is Iranian president-elect rejects Biden meeting and refuses negotiations.
And today or yesterday, they Biden, um, his one of his departments took over 36 internet websites that were run by Iran.
Mm-hmm.
So they closed them down. They took them over. So that might
Do you mean they
be
took them
part of
down?
this.
They are
Yeah,
blocking the use
yeah.
of these sites?
They completely eliminated 36 websites, and the only kind of that government bullshit information behind it was that they were spreading misinformation
Hmm.
allegedly. Who the
Well,
fuck knows? It
that's
could be part
interesting.
of this. It could be part of negotiations for other things. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
all right, you want to fuck around? Boom. Um,
I don't know. President elect. I mean, that guy's not even official yet. I mean, supposedly, if their if their elections were legit, but he's not even in office yet, and he's saying he won't meet with the president or negotiate with the president for anything.
North Korea, I think, said the same thing. I think the sister came out and talked, and she said he's not going to meet with fucking Biden.
She's got lady
So,
balls, though. I mean, I respect her more than I respect this president elect from Iran.
I mean, our media loved her when she like gave Trump a dirty look. They fucking loved her.
It's just the way your face looks.
Now it's like you got this is the world we live in, because some people were saying like, well, of course he's not going to meet with Biden. Biden is not going to be treated like a puppet like Trump was. Other people are like, they don't respect Biden like they respected Trump. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's two
I see
sides.
the point. Yeah,
There's two
but at the same
sides
time,
to
I don't think
her
people really
reasoning.
respected Trump. I just think they were afraid of what he might do if he gets upset. That's a really big
Then
difference with big implications, but you still tiptoe through the tulips with these people. If they're
then
easily offended, you don't want to piss them off.
that's respect by force. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying? Like
all right.
he's forcing you to come to the table. You fucking will show some respect. You will show up. You will be talking to him because he is demanding it. Um
I didn't see
yeah,
that
but you're
enough.
not going to get
I didn't
that. You're
see.
not going to
I
get that
didn't
from
see enough of
Biden.
that to validate that opinion. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just
No.
I
I
didn't
get
see
it.
enough of him saying, "All right, let's meet. Get to the table. You're gonna show some respect. If not, I'm gonna walk away." I didn't see enough of that to validate that.
I saw it in the tweets. He was talking shit.
It's Twitter.
Those North Korea, but that brought him to the table. Those He's like, I got a button. He was talking shit about how weak he was. Like he was talking a lot of shit to it was something so unprecedented in the history of the world
I agree
that
because I mean nobody
two
went to
nuclear
Twitter to conduct
countries.
fucking political negotiations.
Yes, but you know what? It worked. Like it worked so well that some South Koreans are saying that Trump should have won the peace prize for that shit.
Hmm. Well, I mean, at
Some
least no
people
one's getting
hate the
shot. So yeah,
yeah,
I see that.
but
Okay.
yeah, Biden he's been a character. He just got back from G7.
Let's be nice to him for just a minute. Okay, now that minute's over, uh, we got to swing in politics. We got to run through this shit. We don't have too much time.
Yeah, tell me what you got.
Oh, I got so much. I got plenty.
Hit me up.
Uh, Celebrate Juneteenth. Celebrate it. It's now a national
Like
holiday.
IKEA?
Yeah, IKEA should absolutely celebrate
You,
Juneteenth the
did you
way
hear
that
what they did?
yes, the way that they did, and they should continue to do things their own way. They
I
are
was okay
we
with
don't
it.
understand
It's
it because
delicious.
they let them contribute to the conversation and immediately get their stores burned
I
down.
bet it was mostly white people that were upset of what IKEA did. Not even. That's a
So
great menu.
so yeah, I agree. I would definitely jump on some IKEA food if it was like that all the time.
Exactly.
Uh, my only problem with making Juneteenth a federal holiday is the name Juneteenth because
I thought it was fucking horrible.
it
We talked
sounds
about that in my
it sounds
thread.
demeaning. It sounds like a third grader made it up. And I think if they
That is so funny you said that because
it
I
was
agree
actually
with you
called
1,000%.
it was called Jubilee Day. A jubilee is like a celebration. It's
Sounds
it's
like a good
a joyous
gumbo.
occasion. It's a happy thing. So that would have
I
been
like that better.
it was the name of it until Texas changed it to Juneteenth in like 1890. So they had this name, Jubilee Day, as the last day that slavery existed in the States until Texas, which is where, of course, the last day of slavery in the States happened, until they changed it. So
I
blink
never.
Texas.
Yeah, it's such a stupid name. I swear that's exactly what the conversation was. Is like
No one
the
has a
name.
problem with the being a federal holiday for people taking time off, for people being forced to take time off to recognize the end of slavery in this country. Sure, but call it something that's respected, like Freedom Day or you know, Black Independence Day was one that I saw. I was like, that's even a little more controversial than it should be, but I'd be happier with Black Independence Day than Juneteenth.
Yeah, Juneteenth sounds fucking horrible. What
So
I was saying
they shot
is
themselves in the
one
face
of
with that one.
one of the takes that I had on that was not hating on the holiday. I understand it. I think the message behind it is actually not bad,
Yeah, the
but
banishment of
it's
racism in general. Like,
but
get
when I
on.
see but when I see that it's a pat in the back for senators and shit,
Mm.
that's where I get upset because it's like that doesn't do a goddamn thing for anyone that is in the working class that needs help in other ways. And now you're just giving them what, a day off? you're given a new marketing day for companies. That's what's going to happen.
Well,
it's
that's
it's
true.
it's not something that I feel that time and energy should have been put, so much time and energy should have been put into by that group of it should be done locally. It should be done. And some people would say it's a national thing. It's a great thing. I get it, and that's what I'm saying. Like I totally am down for it. But what I'm saying is there should be more important issues to help what I would call the working class.
That's the other
Um,
question that I had, and just to kind of jump on that point is why now? You know,
exactly. It's
why
a
now?
pat in the back
Why
that's unnecessary. There's so many more important things that should be going on.
shouldn't we
I
have done
just,
this when we had a black president? Shouldn't we have done
yeah,
this in, I don't know, the Civil Rights Act? Shouldn't this have been taken care of with that? It's just this outstanding thing that doesn't matter to anybody except those that remember that specific date as needing a different name. And again, they could it's significant. It really, really is. But give it a name that people are going to respect, not a joke.
I agree. And you want to help out, like the what do we call it, the people
Contribute.
still may, I was going to say, like, what do you call the people that are still affected by it, like the I don't know the name. I can't think of the word I'm looking for. But
Descendants, the
descendants is perfect. If you want to really help out descendants of the people that were affected by that, maybe not today, but for generations, then do something more solid, more I don't want to say important. I lost my vocabulary today. Sorry guys, but there should be something more of substance than just a day off. Like
in a lot of ways it may not even be a day off. It's just
it may not even be a day for federal people. It was though.
sure, sure.
So
And it will
so
continue to be now that it's a federal holiday. That's absolutely
yeah,
right.
NASA had the day off. Like everybody did.
Mm.
Like Katie's brother, he works for them.
He's
Fucking
like,
day off.
I'd rather be working. Like
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's wild. So my point is I'm not hating on it. I understand the holiday.
absolutely.
I think you brought up such an important point is why now, and that's that piggybacks on what I was saying is like there's so many other things you guys need to do to make the price of everything seems to be going up at a pretty crazy rate in my opinion.
Mm.
Just
Yeah,
everything,
inflation
houses,
is
fucking
crazy.
food, gas seems to slowly
Slowly.
start going
50
up.
it's up 56% from last year.
That's wild. Food, I could just when I walk in our great Publixes, like I just see these things that end up being a tax on the lower working class. Like
Yeah.
it's like I don't know.
Well,
I
I
feel
mean,
like there's a lot of issues that should be above a new holiday. Is my point.
all right. You want to talk about the G7 and its fallout? So this was last week, obviously, but we had several stories to talk about here. Um, your boy Vlad, Captain Putin, was interviewed in advance of meeting with President Biden with a hot take. Don't be mad at the mirror if you are ugly. this fella, this fella has played the game better than anybody else ever.
I do not hate on Putin, man. I've heard him talk. I do not hate on the man. I think that he gets a lot of unnecessary hate. Some rightfully so, I guess, but like that goes to any leader. Shit.
Sure.
But
And there's
I like his honesty. I like how blunt he is. I
he
like some of the
is,
shit
but
he
he's
says.
also, if you listen to him talk, he's so calm. And
Oh
he may
yeah.
be a psychopath, but you're just like, oh, that's a psychopath. Yeah, he's a cold blooded murderer, but he's just talking to you like,
But the same could be
what
said about
kind of
George
coffee
W.
do you
Bush.
like?
You know what I'm saying? Like the same could be said about a lot of the presidents we've had in our land
Yeah,
here.
George W.
You know what I'm
Bush.
saying? George W. Bush comes to mind number one. But some people could say maybe fucking a Reagan, I'm just naming Republicans.
Good.
Even
Continue.
that's what I'm saying. It's like we've
Calvin
had.
Coolidge was a fucking
I
murderer.
guess what I'm saying is that where we live and the coverage that he gets, I think it's a little bit unfair. some criticism he should get, right?
It's not like
Like
he's a
if
Saudi
his
prince
attacks on the
like
press,
ordering people to be killed like publicly or in foreign uh, foreign diplomatic posts. It's not like that, right? It's not like he's taking risks like that, like these brazen attempts on people's lives. It's not like he's doing that. He's
no.
keeping it in the house. If he's having somebody silence, he's having it, make it look like an accident. Someone runs off a bridge, gets poisoned
Like
by something, and
the Boston bombers, that came from fucking our FBI was fucked that up horribly.
oh,
Guess who said? Russia is the one that said, "Hey,
we
check
could
out these
let's
guys.
do a whole
Their
episode
intelligence,
on that. I mean,
their intelligence agency is the one that helped out America during that." That's what I'm saying. Is like there's a lot of shit that he should get some credit for. I understand his positioning sometimes of why he, like today, they're trying him again. NATO and them are trying him again. Like England was sending boats in his space.
okay,
So they had to fucking send some warning shots. Like, yo, what the fuck are y'all doing?
these are our
Like
waters.
this isn't the fucking English Channel, bro. You're in my backyard with a
Everybody's being
naval
tested
ship.
right now. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like why would you do that? And we did that with him. Obama did that with him with I think Georgia. You just start surrounding him, you're poking the bear. And Russia is a bear. Like they're not gonna take it. He even said one time, he goes, listen, even though the United States is way ahead of us, especially in the military and a lot of shit, I'm not gonna just sit back. Like you guys are surrounding me. What do you
yeah,
expect me to do for my country?
they figured out how
And
to
he's
turn. They figured out how to turn Soviet or communist authoritarianism into a way to, you know, lift up that political class. So if you're connected in Russia, if you're military or KGB or whatever, or were KGB, and your government now, you're loaded. Like you have unlimited resources, and whatever they can do to say that we're not taking a step back, we're going to step right up to the line and say that we're here, we're not backing down, we're going to use our influence in any way that we can. It's the same like level of people as it was before the fall of the Berlin Wall. Is
I get
absolutely the
that.
same group of people.
Or the same mentality.
Oh
You
yeah,
saying it's
yeah.
the
The
same
mentality
exact
is the same.
people? Yeah,
Absolutely.
those are some tough people, man. I've been close to Russians for a decent part of my life, and they are just very blunt, upfront, no bullshit. Let's just tells it how it is, and that's how I feel the type of leader Putin is. Is like you want to be a media person who's just going to try to ask you some fucking crazy question. He shot back at him. Like one of them, I think, was saying like, "Why did you imprison this political guy?" The
Yeah.
the the one guy, and he goes, you're asking me about that when you're in a country. He's like, don't you have like 400 political prisoners right now? He's talking about the people from the Capitol riots. He
Yeah.
goes, don't you have
Yeah.
them in solitary? He goes, you guys are worse than I am. I
That's
don't even have that
exactly what
many.
I meant. Is don't be mad if you're ugly. Don't be
Yeah,
mad at the
exactly.
if you're ugly.
Yeah, that's hilarious, dude.
Shout out
Like
to
I
him.
respect that.
We'd love
Shout
to
out
get
to
him on the
him.
show. We probably have to have somebody that to interpret for us because I
Nah,
mean,
he'll have his own interpreters.
no, for us because he's
Oh
got
yeah,
his
yeah,
own
yeah,
person.
for
In
sure.
different dialects. So after that meeting, the president got kind of testy with one of CNN's interviewers and a presser, Caitlin Collins. She works for CNN.
I hate Caitlin
Uh,
Collins. She's really pretty though,
she's a
but
nice lady, but he
no,
didn't
I don't like you,
time
Caitlin
to her.
Collins. I'm gonna
Yeah,
say that out there. Who wasn't nice to her, Putin or Biden?
Biden.
Okay, I missed this, so
So
that's actually interesting.
here's my thing. I think CNN's starting to feel a little bit of pressure.
The ratings, bro. The
Yeah,
ratings are
they're rating.
garbage.
Apparently, Stelter is getting savaged for bringing down the ship. It's his fault.
Good,
So CNN think.
good.
You think he's
He's
going to get
absolute
fired?
garbage. I hope so. And I don't wish that upon most people, but Brian Stelter is a cancer. And what I mean by that is
Oof.
that someone
I don't
that
wish cancer on
someone
anybody
that
either.
no, he is a cancer, and I don't wish him upon anybody because he portrays himself as
journalist, someone that actually, his whole show is that he watches other journalists and reports on journalism. He's not that though. He is a one-sided partisan fucking
What is
activist.
his show?
And those are the most dangerous people, reliable sources.
Reliable sources. Yeah,
Yes.
Rogan said about him on his podcast. He said,
I have
"You
to go and see that
motherfucker,
episode.
you're supposed
Yeah.
to be a journalist," specifically about
Yes.
that show. It's like,
Dude,
no,
I've been watching
present
Brian Stelter
facts
for
and let people
years.
figure it out themselves. Oh my goodness.
He is the most corrupt person in that field. One of them. There's probably there's a lot of him out there, but the reason that there's so much hatred towards him is that he doesn't own it. He doesn't admit it. And it's such a clear, evident thing of what he is doing. It's disgusting because if he owned it, guess what? Then you would have respect from a lot of people. A lot of the MSNBC people own the fact that they are partisan and that they only report one side. And that's, they have their fan base. Everybody knows what they are. But Brian Stelter does not. He pretends that he is a neutral guy telling it how it is as fairly as possible,
So
when clearly he is not.
You think that his own network and his own cadre of folks, that even though they think the same way as he does politically, you would think that they would kind of support him taking a side and having a show that talked politics instead of criticized media figures.
His show's still political though. Even though I said that, it's still very political. And that's the problem, because it's only political, one-sided. And he does not, he will actually say he is not one-sided. And he'll try to fucking argue that he is fair, that it's just crazy. He attacks others for what he does, is also one of the most gaslighting things in the world. Like, you're just attacking people. You're attacking people. He attacks Fox all the time for doing exactly what he does. It's fucking wild.
Which is fine if you admit it. If you admit that, hey, he's doing the same thing I did. He won't.
Admit it, you fucking... They call him the Gimp. Someone got suspended on Twitter for calling him the... They put a picture of the Gimp from Pulp Fiction next to him, and he's like, this is the CNN Gimp. The Eunuch is actually the more known one from Game of Thrones.
Low blow.
The bald one. Yeah. He's not a good human being. And I say that because
it's coming from a place of love.
I say that because he is in a job that is so important to society, or should be, but what it does instead is it's a cancer, because you are now poisoning the waters. You are pretending to be something you're not. And it's so clear and obvious that you are just not a good person, man. It's really, really, like, you're supposed, if you were like a Sean Hannity who admits that you are one-sided, like, that guy's one-sided. Sean Hannity does not claim to be a fucking news person. He is a talk mouth person.
Yeah, he's Rush Limbaugh.
He's a talking figurehead for the right, for conservatives, for that Republican side. He does not do that, dude. This guy claims he does not do that, and I think that is so wild and just inappropriate for the
there's
position.
A way back for him? Do you think there's a way for him to get back to...
Yes. Have a speech about who you are, why you're doing what you're doing, and that you will now be a partisan hack.
You will own up to be partisan.
You will own up to be who you are, or at least start doing your job and start covering shit like a regular person.
Just be proud of who you are. Just it's Pride Month. Get say it loud, say it proud.
I was shocked when I found out he wasn't gay. He's also only 35 years old.
I know. I can't believe that
the guy looks like he looks like complete hot garbage. But that's he looks like he's in his late 40s and has looked that way for a long time. And you know what? That's that evil. That's that negative fucking
thing can be said about Aaron Rodgers. And he still has hair.
Like Aaron Rodgers, that's hilarious. Yeah, I just don't like Brian Stelter. I don't like CNN. They are
I think
activist.
They're struggling. I think they are seeing the light because they know that they can't get ratings from what they're doing, and I think they're going to continue to have people like Miss Collins or Mrs.
Yeah, tell me what she
Hunter
did. Tell me what she
status.
did.
I'm just trying to, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt that for the next year and a half or so, they can maybe be an honest journalistic organization.
They won't,
There
because
are.
I think
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'll take it to the conspiracy side. They are what they call the Mockingbird media. So there's been a story about an operation that happened, I think, in the late 70s or 80s, or maybe even early 70s, and it was called, I believe, Operation Mockingbird. And what the Mockingbird media is the CIA and maybe other intelligence groups also from the federal government took it upon themselves that it's very important that they have influence in what's going on in the news to portray certain sides of issues, that they felt that that was extremely important for the national security of the United States, for whatever their reasoning was. So long story short, they infiltrated and put certain people that their whole entire careers are pretty much working two sides. They're working for the government and they're passing along what in other countries you call it propaganda. Here it's just a message from the CIA or whatever. And I think that that's what keeps low rated news stations and 24-hour news people like CNN floating above. They're always going to have money. They're always going to have sponsorships. They're always going to be taken care of as long as they're passing certain messages that they need to be passed along for whatever the reasoning is behind the.
I mean, I understand where you kind of loaded it and you said I'm going to take it to the conspiracy world, but I don't see that as far fetched.
It's and I say it's a conspiracy world because they're the only ones that talk about it.
Just think about it. Like, why wouldn't that be a good idea to control the narrative 100% of the time if you were a government? Why wouldn't you want the major outlets repeating what you told them? And I'm not saying that it's happening or not happening. I'm just saying that it's a believable concept. It's not it may not be all that far-fetched.
Fun fact, Anderson Cooper spent, I think, 2 entire summers, probably even more, but publicly, I think it was 2 summers with the CIA.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there are connections there, and I'm sure there's others, and I'm sure there's a lot of people. Yeah, like, and some of the Hollywood people even say, like, when they make certain military movies and they need certain military, I guess, to have access to certain maybe props.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that, they have to follow certain guidelines from the military about what they're presenting.
That's true.
Allegedly, I've heard that. I haven't confirmed that myself. I'm almost 100% true, and I know that, like, people will the censored search engines will kind of say that that Mockingbird's not true, but there is a lot of other information that shows it is true. So I would just suggest people look into that and just know that propaganda is real, even in countries like ours, which is supposed to be the freest country in the world. Propaganda 100% exists. And I think people are waking up to it. I've never seen it at such a higher rate in my lifetime. And they're starting to realize it, like, we've been lied to a lot. We went to war over lies in my lifetime with the Iraq shit. That was a big awakening for a lot of people. I think there's more of awakening for
it's like
other things that
favorite
happen.
lines of Zero Dark 30. I'm not sure if you've seen that movie. If you haven't watched it, go look for it. There's the guy who plays the national security advisor to President Obama, and of course Obama's never seen on screen as a character. He's seen in, like, excerpts, but this national security advisor, he's talking to somebody who had previously worked for the Bush administration in the CIA, and he says, "Don't forget, I was in the room when your old boss pitched WTMD Iraq." Like, that
shit, he said that.
So it went so, like, straight for the soul. It was like, don't bullshit me, because I can see it coming. I know what you guys try to do. You guys took us to war for different reasons than we thought. It's not going to happen in this case. We're going to go get bin Laden, but only in the right way and only for the right reasons. Wow.
Yesterday, for just to spin off that, I guess I think it's on Hulu too. It's called the Bin Laden tapes. So it's just like going over. I think in 2016 the CIA declassified the hard drives, some of the information that the hard drives had. So like you get to see his last days, how the compound he was living in, what type of life he was having. I think it's a little series. I only saw a little bit of episode
Is
one,
his
but it was
daughter in
pretty
it?
interesting. No, it had a lot of grandchildren.
Okay.
You'd have poetry contests and shit with them, and like I don't know, it was weird. They found a lot of porn on the hard drives, but they don't know because they can't say. You got to take everything with a grain of salt because they were used computers, so they don't know if it was from the person prior that had the computers. They also said that that one of the way that they would send some encoded messages was in porn. They would put some messages somehow in the scenes.
That's
I
insane.
don't know. It is insane. But like one of the funny things that one of the funny takeaways from that is he the way he would communicate a lot was through couriers, right? And one of his head guys was just like, boss, like the courier things is just like, it's extremely difficult in some areas, and it's very, it's hard. And he's like, why don't we try the encrypted stuff? He goes, Bin Laden's like, you fucking want me to use email from the people that invented email? Like, are you fucking crazy? He's like, no, we're not doing that, stupid. Yeah, no. You want me to use encrypted? Yeah, you don't think they're gonna fucking figure it out? The people that invented the shit? That made me laugh. I was like, yeah, good. One positive for him is being smart in that end.
That is hilarious. I mean, how do you expect somebody stays hidden for so long?
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of bullshit there too. I'm curious about that scene in Zero Dark 30 of who that was. I'm thinking, I wonder if it was that guy. I can't think of his fucking name right now. Ben Rhodes. I wonder if it was Ben.
It wasn't him.
Oh, it wasn't him. Okay, because he had other ones. Okay.
Ben Rhodes is deputy, never the full show. But it's funny that actor Stephen Delane, he was in Game of Thrones, so you'll know him when you see him.
What character?
I don't remember. He was one of the big bosses of the families, and he ends up getting turned on. Someone kills him. My last story for the evening, and that's just because we got to wrap this up. Friend of the show, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot. I'm going to come see you. I'm coming to you next month, end of July.
You're going to Chicago?
Yeah, Chicago. She went off on her subordinate. I'm not sure which one, but one of them who tattled to the press for scheduling her meetings all day with no downtime. So apparently she just repeated the same lines in emails over and over and over again, some as many as like 15 times, 13 times, different sentences, trying to really drive the point home, I guess. And staffers compared her to Jack Nicholson's character in The Shining because of that scene where he's really just writing on his typewriter, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
I've heard that before. I didn't realize that I got to watch The Shining again.
King reference. We always think that she kind of looks like Pennywise or Beetlejuice.
That lady's wild, dude. I didn't realize that when she put out her memorandum that she won't give non-black reporters interviews, I guess. So no whites, no Latins, no Jews.
Yeah, whatever. Whites was the story that I heard. So people of color only, and if you're a white Jew, you're disqualified.
What about a white Latin? Like, there's a lot of white Mexicans or white Muslim. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's such a weird. It's such a backwards ass fucking move. But here's the thing: she goes home to her white wife. When they show the picture of her wife,
be a man. Be honest. Okay.
Was it?
Yes. Give her some credit.
She's dating a trans.
The trans.
She's married. Shut your mouth. I did not know that. Oh my god, I'm gonna look into that. I did not know.
Fact check. Dude, I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Lori fucking Lightfoot, dude. What a fucking character. I remember when she like put cops on her street, and then she was trying to defund cops in other areas. Like, she's fucking wild, dude. I don't understand. I don't understand the people of Chicago's voting. What I would
Maya Wiley, who just got her ass beat down yesterday in the New York City mayoral race. She has private.
Yeah, I heard the Asian dropped out too.
Former military, former police, private security watches out for her street when she's advocating defunding police.
Yeah, fuck those people, dude. And Chicago, dude, fix your voting. Like you guys voting, I don't know if you guys can just blame it on corruption, and if it is corruption, then fix that. But stop voting for people like Lightfoot. Like this, she's such a clown. I think she's one of the worst leaders.
To the point where they saw her as being somebody who could expose the corruption and
no, she's horrible.
Anyway, but she hasn't been able to do what she wanted to do or what they wanted her to do.
I don't know what the fuck they think in that.
But I'm gonna go investigate. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, please do. You're gonna be on the ground
next. Yeah.
Are you going for a concert?
Yeah, Lala.
Oh shit, that's
Lala's
right.
on, so we're going. It's gonna be great.
Fuck yeah. Who are you? Are you going?
Yeah, it's me, Nicole, Brandy, and a couple of folks that live in Chicago. We're gonna go at different days. So, but it's cool because we're gonna stay at Brandy's boss's house, and he's like a multi-millionaire. Like,
oh, it's gonna be.
He's gonna be in another country, so we're just gonna like house sit.
You get it to yourself. Yes. Wow.
And just take the train to the show day after.
Definitely take some pictures, maybe some clips that we can share of like this gangster baller house.
We'll have
the train
between now and
hell yeah, guys. We're gonna have some Chicago fucking content. Try some of the food out there, which is you know what? I would one of the best chefs in the entire world who talks slow. He has one of the best restaurants in the world is in Chicago.
Okay. Yeah, send me what you know about it.
Yeah, dude, he's gangster. This chef is so fucking gangster. I didn't realize how gangster he was till recently in life. Yeah, and his place is in Chicago. I got to come up. I'll send you the deets and see if maybe you've been there already, or if maybe you can make that a stop because I heard it's spectacular.
Well, another idea is we could do a show. I'm not sure how long it would be, but we could definitely do one from the venue.
Hell yeah!
You put the Zoom app on the phone and get the whole experience.
Yeah, let's do some clips. I'm down for that shit.
It's up to you if you want to put a string of show together that week of things that are going on over there.
Definitely, dude. That's pretty cool. I'm excited for you, man. That's gonna be a great time.
Thanks. Anything else?
Do you have to show you're vaccinated for the concert?
I do. I got it in my wallet.
We'll talk about that next week. That's crazy too.
My fucking Star of David on my arm.
So you have to show that shit. Like you can't. Do they have a non-vaccinated section?
It's not that you can have a non-vaccinated section. You either have to have a fully vaccinated, like proof of,
or a false test,
or pass a test within, I think, 24 hours before you walk up. They're not doing temperature checks. They're not making people wear masks.
I respect that they at least allow you to show a negative test. I respect that, and I think that's a good point. That's a good fair.
I mean, tickets went on sale only like 6 weeks ago, so like it's not like you could make that kind of plan and then show up and like, oh, suddenly I got COVID. I'm asymptomatic, and they're like, no, you can't come in. Like you can't recoup that money. Like True. You can't postpone for another year. They didn't give anybody that option, which would have been a great idea, because I mean the number of people that are going to test positive, going to, even if they're vaccinated and they test positive, I mean they wouldn't show it. I think if you were vaccinated and you tested positive, you'd probably still go to the show. He'd probably just say, "Here's my vaccination card.
Here's my vaccination card. Good luck, everybody in there.
Yeah, good luck. I hope you're vaccinated. Not that it means anything." I'm just gonna be. I can't wait to see how many people are still wearing masks, and I will not be wearing one.
I will be absolutely. I don't wear one now. You should. I stopped wearing masks at Publix and shit. Yeah, I'm over that.
As soon as it was not mandated. I mean, we still have to wear one to pick up our daughter at school, but it's the only place where they still make you do it.
Where else? Where did I have to wear one? I'm trying to think. Oh, no, was it a hospital? I don't know. There's some places where you still have to, though, obviously. So, follow the rules, but
don't get
like supermarkets and shit. Fuck that.
Don't get
I'm
fined
good, dog. I lived.
for talking too loud on your phone or not wearing a mask where you're supposed to.
Yeah, we got a lot of things to keep talking about, so hopefully maybe we'll do a bonus show this week. Because I was gonna say, like, the people that predicted that there would be a pandemic during Trump's, like, Fauci actually said those words. He guaranteed that Trump would have a pandemic to deal with. Some of the next thing is that they're saying we're gonna have an internet outage. The internet's gonna get attacked. Can you? So I kind of want to discuss, like, what are the ramifications of that from work to society? Is it going to be worse than this past one?
I don't
Is
think
it going to?
would work if there was an internet outage.
Can you believe that? Like, that's the next thing that will kind of be in foreshadowed upon, just like the pandemic was foreshadowed a little bit.
Yeah, it probably won't
but
happen with this current president because he wouldn't be able to handle it. I mean, I don't think so.
yeah, and not only that, the other thing that we didn't talk about, but once again we need to talk about, is the fact that basically the government has said that aliens are real. No one gives a fuck. Can you? If this was the 90s, that's all we would be talking about. In the 90s, aliens were huge. Grainy videos, scaring
Aliens
people. They were so huge. It was,
we had
yeah,
Independence Day. We had
unsolved mysteries, bro. So we got a lot to talk about, man. This is OWT. I think that was the last story of the night.
episode 42. Shout out.
42. Shout out to Juan Pablo Montoya. That was his NASCAR number. So yeah, it was a good episode. We still got a lot of things to catch up on in the Time Capsule podcast. And until next time,
stay woke, suckers.
Always.
We out.
Or stay awake is what some people are saying now.
You can stay awake if you want to.
Yeah. Or get some rest.